Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT News and a major update on the Sentinels side ahead of the last chance qualifier that somehow they managed to qualify for after a tragic result still at the Stage 2 main event. SicK has revealed that he will probably be back in business returning to the starting team when that comes around. And Dapr has said that their practice before they got railed in the last couple of matches of the main event was actually looking incredibly good indeed. Having some confidence the Sentinels can still do damage here for the remainder of the season. But very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it, really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. On the verge of 20k, love to see that one. This I thought was rather interesting, an early kind of Haven concept back in the 2018 days. Like, I mean, yeah, of course this looks rather like the C site. Not all that much has changed in fairness apart from like the actual visuals of this, right? I think honestly these visuals like maybe better than what we have today, to be honest, but you know, maybe that's just my perspective on things. Just wanted to mention this because you guys know I love talking about Chamber. His pick rate across all regions is 61%, but actually like incredibly favored in North America compared to the other regions. Korea, like Latin America picked a fair bit, APAC as well, but North America pick Chamber way more than pretty much any other region. EMEA especially is down only at 50% pick rate. NA is almost up at 3/4 pick rate, right? So like definitely Chamber, I think the strongest agent in the game, probably every region would agree, but arguably more of a North American crutch than other regions as well. So we'll see how kind of that meta balances out. Let's say we go to Masters, I'm excited to see that, right? Because the teams like OpTic, if they do make it, or whoever makes it from the North American side, is probably going to pick Chamber an awful lot. Other regions might not necessarily do that quite on such a frequency, and we'll see like which idea is actually turns out to be correct. Now, of course, a couple of days ago, we got the confirmation that with this new Pearl map comes into play, it will be Split getting replaced. Definitely some players have disagreed with this one. Marder says, like, you're a sick man if you like playing Breeze more than Split. Kind of saying that, okay, yeah, surely Breeze should be the one to go instead of Split. But some certainly agree with it coming through. Some certainly do disagree with it. As Nismo says from Ghost Gaming, I think it was a bad decision to remove Split. I actually think Split is one of the maps where there's a lot of variety of different agents you can play. I think it makes the game more fun when you're watching as well. Even Hazed says from, of course, NRG, Split is very creative on the attack and even on defense as well, saying that it was bad in kind of pug settings, but very good for competitive play. So definitely not necessarily sure they should have removed it, but other players are definitely convinced that it should have gone. I think Sentinels not particularly big fans of Split, and also like FaZe as well pretty much said, okay, yeah, Split should be gone. Like, looking forward to the new map coming in. I'm not sure exactly when the new map is coming into play, but I'm pretty sure the map rotation begins during or after the last chance qualifier, which I think is going down in August, so excited to see how that one goes for the rest of the year. But yeah, FaZe definitely excited for Split to be gone rather soon indeed. 100 Thieves, of course, not the result they wanted up against FaZe just last night. Derek, you know, kind of looking back on this one with a little bit of regret for sure about some of these thrifty situations, but these, of course, are the final four of both regions going into next weekend. OpTic set down on G and FaZe Clan. This, of course, North America and Europe. I'll keep you guys updated on the other playoffs as well as they come to their conclusions over, well, the coming days as well. Fnatic, Guild, FPX-M3C. Three of these teams, of course, the top two have already confirmed. FPX-M3C will battle it out for the fourth team. And then in North America, at least one of OpTic and XSET will get through. And then, of course, it's a complete bloodbath apart from that. But one of NRG and FaZe will certainly not make it. Now, let's talk about Sentinels, right? As that head says, I thought this was rather funny. 0 for 4. Call it me, Sentinels. But as Dapr says, we're 0 for 5. Nice try. So Sentinels, of course, not the result they wanted to finish out Stage 2. 0 in 5. Got destroyed by Cloud9 in that final series. Yes, they didn't have their full team that they wanted. Raucus had to sub in instead of SicK, of course. And of course, like TenZ was out of the team briefly as well, but he came back in after being unwell for a few days. And supposedly a lot of the good work they'd done in practice kind of got undone by those changes they didn't initially, of course, intend to make. But the way they finished things out wasn't particularly good. They thought their season was done. TenZ thought their season was done. ShahZaM said their season is over. But it turns out that things worked out in their favor. And despite the fact that NRG beat the Guard, which would have been a key if it was the other way around in that kind of decider series for the playoffs, Ghost Gaming still come into the playoffs and get double first rounded, meaning Sentinels just about have enough points to be the 10th seed in the North American side. And 10th seed is just about good enough to get through to last chance qualify, because the top two from North America go straight to champions, and then the next 8, including Sentinels, just about will still get to go to the LCQ. So as SicK says at the time, this on the 22nd of May, when he's kind of, going through it recently, sorry to all the fans, we go again next week. And then it was confirmed maybe a week or so later from Sentinels themselves that SicK will be taking an extended leave of absence to attend an ongoing family matter. And there was kind of a question, when is SicK going to return? Definitely one of the most impactful players on the Sentinels roster, arguably one of their best, playing the last few months or so, and then he's had to take some time away. So that was unfortunate. I think it did certainly hurt their performances. There was talk from Zoms and Sinatraa, okay, why aren't you getting us into the team? But Raucus filled in instead to, admittedly not a great success at the end of the day. But the confirmation comes through from SicK last night. I've been struggling with my mental health for the past month or so, but I'm feeling much better now. Thanks to everyone for the support. I will hopefully return to competitive play very soon indeed, and monthly streams back in business as well. So, I mean, yeah, here we go from SicK. So great news, obviously, that he's feeling an awful lot better. As he says, struggling with mental health, I imagine kind of, brought on by, the family matters he's been dealing with. So, like, yeah, must be a difficult time for SicK, but it's great to hear that he's back in business, and really the perfect time, right? Because here we are at about the kind of towards the end of June now. The last chance qualifier was going to be in August, I believe. So that gives SicK realistically a few weeks, 6 or so weeks to get, to make sure he's getting back ready to go. And if he can get back into scrims in the next couple of weeks, if Sentinels even decide to scrim in the next couple of weeks, then you would imagine that they should be well prepared indeed to go into that last chance qualifier and give it a decent go, right? Because we certainly want to see, like, Sentinels got arguably blessed after their 0-5 performance to even qualify. Like, we want to see them at least put up a fight here, right? At least give it a go. Don't just, if they just get bodied out of the tournament, then it's going to be kind of frustrating, and all Ghost would be frustrated that they didn't make it in, given that right now they look like a much more competitive team than Sentinels. But Dapr still seems to believe it's possible they can make a run. Send winning champions timeline, win LCQ, then just win the champions, right? Pretty straightforward. But yeah, their season is not over yet. And I just wanted to share this clip here from Dapr that came out a couple of days ago, where he says at the start of it that I'm pretty sure SicK will be back in the team, which of course, and he kind of says wait for an update. And we've now got the update from SicK, effectively saying yes, he will be back in the team. So that's good news. But he also goes on to say that he believes that their scrims kind of all before they got destroyed in the matches, and maybe they are just scrim merchants at the end of the day. But still, he reckon their scrims were just disgustingly good, and they were destroying everyone, and like getting really good practice in before like things kicked off. I think that was before TenZ was unwell, and like maybe the whole SicK situation was going down, but saying that they do have the potential with that team to still do incredibly well. Maybe indicating they're not going to make any roster changes going into the LCQ, which might be a mistake, but might be a good idea.
We'll be back. Don't you worry your little heart. We'll be back. Hey, don't look at that. Yeah, no, we are demons and scrims. Dude, I'm telling you, before we got on in our last match, I think that Friday we played like 4 scrims or 5 scrims total, but I'm pretty sure like 3 or 4 out of that 5 we like had 20 rounds against like 4 max. Like we had like a crazy scrim day, like best. We're probably looking like Thanos in the server. Compare it like to everybody. We're literally like Thanos. They get to the match and get demolished. It's like, wow, those guys are scrimmers. I never thought we were scrimmers in my life. How sick? You gonna play for LCQ? Stay tuned, brother.
So intrigued to your thoughts on this one, right? Like TenZ and the guys are somehow at the last chance qualifier, but that is kind of the next question to me. They do have a bit of time before the LCQ. If they wanted to make a roster change, they could do exactly that. Some people have said, okay, was Campake just kind of a placeholder for Sinatraa to step back into the team? Like, look, they've got plenty of time to figure it out. I don't know when they're going to start scrimming up again, right? But, Dapr seemed to believe that their squad did have that potential. They just didn't translate that into their matches they played, and, still managed to luck out at the end of the day and qualified through to the last chance qualifier regardless, right? So yes, they still have some confidence. If SicK is back in the team, I'm sure they have confidence they can make something happen with him, because I think they certainly looked better with him than when he was gone. Until if this team does fail massively at the LCQ going into next season, I'm sure SicK will be one of the kind of key targets that either other teams are going to try and pick up from Sentinels, or like the Sentinels themselves will try and maintain as they kind of rebuild their roster for next year's franchising ecosystem, which of course there's no guarantee Sentinels are even in, but more than likely they will be. So intrigued to your thoughts on that one in the comment section below. Now, of course, speaking of Sentinels, you can't get around the whole hours streamed type situation that people have been trying to analyze this. So as Will might have pointed out here, a couple of interesting stats. This is effectively comparing, I'll bring it up on the big screen here, the ACS, so like average combat score from group stage in the playoffs versus hours streamed. Now, of course, I mean, look, probably just ignore the regression line, because there's probably, you probably can't read into this that much, and of course, there's a lot of players on 0 hour streams. But this is comparing individual performance to hour streams. The argument has been, of course, that, okay, Sentinels, they stream too much, they play too much on stream, therefore, individually, they will play worse. But at the end of the day, if you're playing an awful lot of ranked play, if anything, you're actually keeping your mechanical skills rather well refined. So I don't think there's a clear correlation at all between this one. But then people ask them, okay, well, instead of it's not just about hours streamed in terms of individual performance, it's more about team performance, right? If you're streaming more than you're playing with your team, then your team performance is going to be the one that suffers. And when looking at it from that perspective, you actually do see a much more kind of consistent correlation here across, I suppose, the different teams. And before we look at what Hayes says, this is kind of the graph on the big screen here, which, I mean, look, again, again, maybe we just kind of ignore the regression line and just kind of look at it trying without that. But I mean, still, it does generally show a kind of correlation. I kind of want to know what each of these dots are here, but comparing the relatively small sample size we have here that Will might have put together from hours at streams the last 30 days when compared to map win percentage, like I'm guessing right down here, this has got to be Sentinels, right? Because we're down to at 10% win percentage, and they went, what, 1 in 10 map count or whatever? Yeah, they went 1 in 10 map count. So this, I guess, has got to be Sentinels, and they did do the most streaming, and the teams that didn't do the most streaming or didn't do any at all, they were up here at the highest win rate. So, like, it does seem like, at least on this evidence, there is a correlation between map win percentage and hours by the team streamed over the course of a week and a month. So intrigued to your thoughts on that one. Of course, it's not conclusive by any means, but I just thought that kind of this plot analysis was rather interesting, looking at that one, maybe comparing Sentinels to some of the other squads that don't stream all that often. And even as NRG Hayes says, not exactly sure which dot here is NRG, kind of putting their whole team together, but kind of confirms what most people believe, including myself, right? Effectively saying that yes, I've kind of believed, and well, the team believes as well, and most people believe that streaming more is harmful to a team's performance, and this indication probably does maybe confirm that to some degree. But intrigued to your thoughts on that one in the comment section below. Just to finish out this as well from NRG Hayes, because of course they are playing a massive matchup in just a few days' time up against FaZe to determine, well, which team gets a chance to qualify still for Masters, and he apparently is going to put absolutely everything into it over the coming days and weeks. But very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button, tell us YouTube gods, this is a good video, I just like you should see it as well, and help grow the competitive Valorant community. Thank you guys as always, take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.